Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. In this video, I am going to explain how public sector banks premier over private banks in India. This article I wrote on 25th April 2021, and my suggestion I sent to our union government through citizens portal mygovernment.in. Content for this video I given in the description, you can go through and study. Public versus private sector bank, which one is better? When compared to public sector banks, private banks not have satisfactory fixed deposits and loan disbursement in India. On 1969, while nationalization of banks, India have only 8,187 branches for 54 crores of population, but now increased to 1,60,827. In rural areas on 1969, India have only 1,443 branches, now increased to 52,632 branches as on September 2020, even though which is very less for 6 lakh villages of India, that is one bank for 12 villages ratio in India. This should be improved, like every village should have the banking facilities with India postal payment banks. Private banks are not interested in forming banks in rural areas. SBI and public sector banks have 44,397 branches in rural, that is 84% in total rural area banks, but private sector banks have only 8,235, which is 16%. Jan Dhan accounts for poor people, which is the good initiatives in India by BJP government, but private banks have only 2.5% of that account out of 42 crores of accounts, but in this public sector bank have 97.2% of accounts. This is showing private banks no concern for poor or rural areas where 70% of our population lives. As on March 2020, public sector banks handling 3.88 crores of farmers' bank accounts and give the loan amount as rupees 4,50,207 crores, which is 86.6% in total loan amount, but private banks given only rupees 72,893 of 14% of total agricultural loans in India. This shows that private banks not interested in our agricultural development also. Also in self-help group, that is SKG, India have 1.02 crores of accounts. In this, private bank have only 7% accounts and public sector have 78% of small self-help group accounts. From this also we came to know community development is not the priority for the private banks, but on their own crony capitalism development. Banks mostly lending the loans to big corporate, not small businesses, even after nationalization of banks. And in this decade also, in our country, we have 5 crores of MSME, which is lifeline of our biggest employment after agriculture, but they get merely 5% of the total loan amount given in India. MSME contribute 35% of our GDP and 40% of our exports. But in foreign countries, they will give the loans to MSME on priorities, not crony capitalist. Private sector bank hesitate to increase the ATM also in rural areas. As on December 2020, India have total ATMs in rural areas was 33,312 in these private banks have only 6,112. Bible certify the good deeds of our public sector banks. In Proverbs chapter 29 verse 7. Good people, that is public sector banks, want to do what is right for the poor, but the wicked don't care. Also in Job chapter 29 verse 13. The blessing of him, that is farmers, self-help group and Jandan accounts and MSME who was about to perish came upon me, that is public sector banks. Amen.